Welcome to your high-level Updoot quick demo to show you the basics. If at any time you would like a full demo, feel free to contact us at team@executethevision.com and we will get you set up right away. So here's your welcome screen. You found the video. You can hit I'll come back to this later and this will leave this window minimized, or you can say I don't ever want to see this again if you feel really confident with what you're doing in Updoot. So before you get started, I suggest you check out the settings in the upper right, and that's going to have company time zone, overtime, so that your account is completely set up to get started for success. So I'm going to say I'm going to come back to this later because I might want that, and you can find this again at the welcome guide if you're just not sure, and then you can minimize or not show it again. So if I go back over here now, I'm in my main admin dashboard, and this is what we talk about when we say everything is one click away. So I'm not going to get into detail. I want to just get you set up so you can kind of poke around and see how things work. But like I said, settings is a great place to start. And what you're going to want to do here is make sure that your time zone is set. I'm going to go with Eastern. I am in daylight savings time, so make sure that's on. And then these are all your employee modules. And if you want your employees to be part of all of them, you can, or you can click on these and you can choose which ones show. And same thing with employee pay extras, you can choose which ones show. So if none of these apply, you can turn them off, or you can click on the circle. I don't have any employees in here yet, but if I did, it would show all the employees and you can choose who sees what. Now an overtime rule, I'm going to just say weekly. Make sure you check out further resources in the blog or with the Department of Labor if you're not really sure exactly what you qualify for and what you need to have set up. So GPS, you can turn this on for punch locations. This is not a tracker. This is just the punch location. And then you've got your kiosk set up here where you can register a device. And then here's some templates for projects later. But those are the basics. So I'm going to hit Save Settings. And you can see it saved. So now I'm going to go back to my command center. So real quick, this is where your time functions are going to result here, I should say. So if somebody were to punch in, it shows here. If somebody were to use the kiosk to punch, it shows here. If you want to add time here manually, you can do that. And so let's just for the heck of it, we're going to add a day. So I'm going to click Add Day, and I want it to be, let's say today. We've got different pay rates we can use here. It's by default going to be rate 1. I'll show you that in a second, but this is rate 2 and that would override rate 1. And you'll see in a second with the payroll report why that is a big deal. So you select your type, whether it's work, PTO, whatever it might be. You can enter a project, employee number. I don't have any employees in yet, but we'll show that in a second. And then you can do their in out times. You can type it in. You can type in a break time, or this break timer is on the employee page and it's automatic on, off, or not automatic, I shouldn't say, but it will show you here on if the employee is on break, and then it will be off and it'll show you the time of the break that they took. So they control that from their page, or like I said, you can manually enter a time. Same with hours. Hours tracks automatically, or you can manually enter time. And then your hours will split into regular and OT based on the rule. And if you have GPS on, your PIN and location will show here. You can click here for an employee map, and you've got your punch notes. Employees can add a note as they punch in if they're going to be late, whatever it might be. And then here's where you've got your tips, bonus, commission, all of that if you so choose. You would hit save here, and then you can punch in manually with an admin button here, but let's add an employee so you can see what I'm talking about. So let's say 001, I'll call this one Nicole. Employee emails are optional in our system. If you use the employee email, that's how they're going to get PTO approval notifications and other notifications. So if you don't use email, you won't be able to do that. That would be manual. So I do recommend an email, but I do find that many times employees don't have an email. And let's just add basic password, and I'm going to hit add employee. So now my employee is here. Now I signed up as an admin, and you'll notice that I have my admin email here, and I'm admin 100. When you add an admin, you automatically get added as an employee as well. You do not get charged for it, but you get the admin employee as well, because a lot of times admins want the same functions. You want to participate in projects, SOPs and such, and you may even want to punch in and track your own time. So we've got an admin here, which is counting as one billable, and then you've got your second employee here technically because you have the admin, and you can choose the numbers. For admin, you cannot, but you can choose the number for this one. So now employees, if you want to reset their password, again, you can give it to them manually, or if they have an email, it will go to them. You can deactivate them here and then delete them. I recommend deactivating if you are a seasonal type of business versus deleting, so you don't remove their information. Delete is like in red, like be sure you want to delete them permanently. Admins are added the same way. And if you go up here, you will see where all your employees are at, and you can enter in their information. You can select their manager. You can set up PTO here. You can add all their times in here based on either accrual or assigned values. If you're not sure, again, at any particular point, team@executethevision.com, or check out our help section, and that will explain a lot more. And then you've got salary information over here. So if this is a salary person, you can select a date that this to get started. If it's not, doesn't matter as much, but pay rate goes in here, either hourly or salary. And this is what I was saying, where you've got pay rate 1 and 2. So if you have a standard pay rate for someone, do not enter anything in pay rate 2. If you just enter it here. Now you've got an overtime multiplier. By default, it's time and a half. And for OT2, by default, it's 2, but you may change that. Holiday multiplier and PTO multipliers, again, are by default 1. So that just means that whatever pay rate you put in the system is what they're going to be paid, unless you said, you know what, PTO is like 2 because they get paid double for PTO hours. And then your salary applies on, you want to select these days and hit save. You do have to review the salary settings every 6 months, so it will show you a little warning when it's coming time to do that. And all you need to do is just go in here and hit save, and it will regenerate another 6 months of salaried data into your time cards. So once you do this though, just be cautious. It does take like 15-20 seconds to populate, so don't get impatient, just let it do its thing, and then you're all set. So I'm just gonna hit cancel. And then down here, if you have an admin who is a manager, you can check them on or off. And what that's going to do is it's going to tie together the manager from above. And so if this person, for example, is the manager of this person, it's going to select their email, and I'm going to turn manager on here, and it automatically saves. And so now if you had, it'd be a better example with a bunch of employees in here, but when this admin were to log in, this admin will only see the people who are assigned to them. So it works really well for like time card approvals, general PTO approvals, that sort of thing. PTO approval will go to this manager that's selected. So if you don't have anyone selected, it will just go to everyone who's listed as an admin. So it's really up to you if you have a lot of employees and you have a number of managers, or if you've got, let's say, one admin, for example, or HR manager who's responsible for all of the PTO, for example, you might want to set that particular manager to be the manager of all those employees. Up to you. Sometimes the company owner is that, or sometimes this person is not a manager at all because they're just the admin on the account. So lots of different options there. Notice that every single page that you'll be on has a copy button. And if you click on copy, it'll tell you it's copied, and you can paste this into Excel or Google Sheets. I really like that because sometimes you want to do further analysis, you want to just capture data at a particular time before you make edits or something like that, or you want to share it with someone who's outside of the users. So this is a great way to be able to do that. So back to the command center. Now if I go back up here to the very top, we've got our employee in there. So you've got your kiosk punch, employee role. This is how an employee who is an admin as well is able to clock in. So you get all of the clock in function except for the buttons down here, because your buttons, your modules are on the top of your administrator page. The employees would see them all here, all of the ones that you have turned on. And so they are able to select or add a project, punch note and such. This is where their schedule is. There's no upcoming shifts, so there are none there, but this is where they clock in. And so if you wanted to do PTO, this is where they request PTO. You're going to want to make sure you set that up ahead of time, or it'll be showing a zero balance down here in my PTO. And then this is where their records are. Now, if an employee requests PTO and they don't want to actually request PTO anymore, there will be a cancel button down here, and this is how they can cancel that. Or if they decided not to take PTO and it was already approved, same thing, they can cancel, or you can cancel and delete it from the main page, and their balances will update here. So this is where you can start break if you're clocked in. So you hit the start break button, and you'll see here how long you're on break if you're the employee, which is really helpful during the day. If they close, refresh, whatever it is, that break timer still keeps going. And so if I go back over here, you'll see that I am clocked in at 10:04 and the break timer is on. And so once I turn that off, like I said, it'll leave you the minutes here, and then it will deduct the break from the time that you're in and out. So if you worked 2 hours, you took a 30-minute break, it's going to be not a 2-hour balance for the day, it's going to be 2 hours minus the break. So you want to be careful with that break button because it will take away time. Now, I did add day, copy time for payroll, copy this, all of this data goes to an Excel sheet, copy paste it, and your payroll will accumulate and for the whole week here, and then it will calculate automatically based on your multipliers and such on this report. So everything's good to go. You can copy your summary, you can generate an invoice here. Generating an invoice, type in all your information, you can put in a logo here, hit download, and you'll see an invoice here pop up. Obviously this is going to be a pretty blank one, but that's the invoice function, ultra super easy. Now if you check different boxes, you'll see different items on here. Now you didn't see this show up on the invoice because this is just a clock in and there's no total hours yet. So now projects is another one that's really handy. If I go to new board here, I can type in, let's just call it project and say it's public. I'm kind of moving fast here because I want to show you the gist of everything, but this is where you can add a project board if you're familiar with like Asana or Monday.com. And within that board, you can add projects. So you might have a project board and then you might have like a sales project, a finance project, whatever it might be, and you can add each one and it will show up here. And then you can do project briefs here as well. So if you wanted to make a suggestion for a project, you can fill out this information or have Doot help you out. That's the AI tool. So if you type in a detailed name and click AI to help, it will fill these in for you if you're not really sure what they should be or like things that you maybe didn't think of. Then you can submit it for approval. And so whoever is assigned to approve it will have to go in here and approve it, and then it will automatically get added to the board. So this I'm going to show you here. Let's say we want to like increase leads. You just put in a description here. The AI, of course, fills it out quite a bit more than we're doing here, but you can put notes here. You can assign owners, your status here, whatever it might be, a start date, end date. This is how every single module works. So everything over here on the left is listed, and then you add your project or your SOP, whatever it might be. You can say, well, we already logged 3 hours and hit save. And so now you'll start to see your projects here. The pencil is how you edit, and then you've got your dashboard. Now, if you want to change who can see this, this is where you can do it here. So you can make it private to yourself and you don't check any boxes, or if you want to choose people, you can choose who can see it, and then it will pop up on their screen and they can interact. So we'll just go with public for now, and then you would have hit the save button. And so this is where you add your tasks. Quite straightforward. So you just click add task, and then you can fill in your information, comments, files, and such. So now if I wanted to bill for this, I would click add hours to billing, hit yes and okay, and then if I go back to the command center, you will see that I've got this line item here. And now if I check this little check here and I say generate invoice, my project here will show up, and I can choose whether it's pay rate 1 or pay rate 2. If we would have put those in, a dollar amount would show. So those are the big things on this screen. Approving the week is where you can approve the hours. So when you click on approve, again, if you're a manager, it's only going to approve people assigned to you. If you're the overall admin and you don't have anyone assigned to you, it will approve everyone, and the employees will see that it's approved with a timestamp, and they have an audit log just like you have. So you have an audit log here, and so if I hit approve hours here, I might need to refresh. You got to close and reopen. You'll see week was approved, and then like I said, employees can see that, and employees can also click approve their time card, and then the audit log shows any hours or anything like that changed after the fact. So if anything were to update, because lots of updates need to happen on time cards, it can do that. I recommend that you approve the week whenever you want to see employees have their final regular and OT hours split. So if you go to the employee login, you will see that they've got their time in, time out, but their regular and OT split doesn't happen until this is approved, because I have found like lots of feedback is that there's a lot of things going on during the week, and OT hours can change and adjust, and then there's like confusion. So once you hit approve, that's when it will do the split, and that's when employees can see where they're at. You can approve it every single day if you want. You could do it once a week, every 2 weeks, doesn't matter. Anytime you approve it, it's going to show that it's updated and it's finalized. And so however you want to do it. So then you can hide your audit log. Now, like I mentioned, all the modules work the same. So if you're in SOP and you click on new SOP, you fill in the information. We're gonna go back to Command Center. We've got goals and KPIs. This is really handy for saying, you know, sales leads. I want to see a goal hit of 1,500 every month, and where are you tracking to actual? Roadmaps, it's a Gantt chart, and that's really awesome to be able to lay out projected projects and how long you think it's going to take. And when you've decided that, yes, we want to move forward on a project, you can send it over to the project board. Customer profiles is pretty cool because you can really start to get into what's motivating your customers, your ideal buyer, and you can think about it through the awareness, consideration, purchase phase, and always have it top of mind who you're targeting. I have lots of blog articles on this topic. Again, team@executethevision.com if you need some help with how you could best use something like this. Calendar is a big one. This is where PTO is going to show up, and you can click to approve it. You can click in this box and you can add holidays for employees in here. So now what I just did is I added employee holidays for the 9th here, so super handy. And if you want to go through here, you can remove it, but this is also where you can add shifts. So do down here at the bottom will help you fill out the month if you've got some repeat history there, or if you answer some basic questions. But this is where you can assign employees by a particular project, job, schedule, location. You can copy the shifts here. This is where you can request shift coverage. So if you've got an employee and you want a particular time slot filled, you hit send offer, and when they open up the website, they will see that little opportunity to approve and to take it, and then it will show up on their schedule, or you can copy the day there. So pretty handy. Definitely, if again you want more information on this, please contact us. So if you want to email the schedule, you can click on this and it will email them an exact image of this schedule, so they can print it out in color, post it on a wall, or keep it on their phone, whatever is easier. And so you've got your legend here. So that's the basic. And again, like everything else, this does copy to Excel if you want to be able to manipulate it in a spreadsheet. And there is an audit log, so changes will be tracked there as well. So if I go back here, we've got performance reviews, org charts, flow charts. Scorecards are great for hiring, or if you're trying to measure, you know, vendor scorecards. Sales and CRM is our lead tracking. So this is where quoting comes in as well. So if you're in here and you've got a new list, we'll just call it 2026. This is where you can enter in all of the lead information by clicking on add lead. Again, everything is along the left column, and then you add it. And so you type in all your information in here, and when you're ready to send a quote, you can hit the quote button. And then if the customer accepts it, you can also invoice from here. And invoice will take you right back to that invoice screen. And it's really like an all-in-one, everything's connected. And then down here, you've got your dashboard. So a lot of times people will have separate along the left here. So you might have different teams, different people for anything, like different SOPs for different departments, different people. And then, or a lot of times you'll just have one. So like you might want to see every single salesperson on one single dashboard, and you could put everyone here. But again, copies to Excel, and then you can see your due, your overdue, upcoming leads for being contacted. So it's really handy, but again, happy to get into more detail. Send us an email. You've got P&L and budget. You've got a vision tracker. Vision tracker is tied to meetings. So if you've got, if you've ever read the book Traction, that's what this is inspired after. So again, you can type in something here. This is going to be your plan to get to your big goals. So I highly recommend you check out the EOS system Traction if you would like to know more about this. But when you click here, you're basically, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you're putting in your big main goals and your smaller goals, and then this is your plan to get there. So you're going to have initiatives, and you want to check in with the team every week to see, you know, how are these initiatives tracking. So if I go back here, like I mentioned, the meeting tracker here, you can add a new meeting, and we'll just put in a date there. And if I click on this, I can choose my vision tracker, and this is going to link to it. So for this particular week, we can talk in detail on it and have accountability and action items, meeting notes, and then whatever you check off here gets checked off on your vision tracker. So week by week, you've got kind of like the high level on the vision tracker, and then you're getting more into the nitty-gritty details here. And then let's see here, we've got roles. This is a great one for job descriptions. You can fill in your job descriptions and publish these, and so you get a really nice PDF version if you need that to be able to, you know, put it somewhere. Sometimes people post it, you know, in the break room because they want internal postings listed, whatever it might be. Competitor analysis. This is another one where we'll just go with this, create our board. And you enter in all the information that you're finding out in the market. You can choose to keep the items that we've got here by default, or you can delete them or add your own. And you add your different competitors, and then it's going to plot you against this chart. I find this is really handy for visibility by everyone so that everyone understands where we're at compared to competitors. So are you the product that's like making a lot of money, but you think you're lower on the quality end? Are you making a lot of money and you're high quality? Who else is with you? So this makes things really, really easy when you're talking about goals and moving forward for the future to be able to have everyone on the same page and see it visually instead of just in your head or you're just thinking it. Risk. This is the last module here in the row. This is a new risk register we're clicking here. Again, 2026. We can make it public or private. And what we want to do here is, whoops, I accidentally pushed the button a bunch of times. So we're going to add in our type of categories for risk. So this is following the PESTLE type analysis where you've got your people, environment, you know, all those things. And you enter in your description, triggers, and what the impact would be. So if you're really focused, or if you're not focused on like cybersecurity risks, for example, this is a great thing where you can like list these things out and then what the actual likelihood of risk is, and you can assign an owner to it, and your status, your response plan, and then the last review and the next review date. So you can really look and see like where things are at. So I'm going to return back to the command center here. So that's kind of just a quick high level. We talked about help. This is the help section over here. We are working on getting these videos always updated. Features are constantly being added, but here's some written instruction as well to help you out. And we talked about, let's see here, this is your summary area. So this has unassigned because there's no employee here, and this particular employee has not clocked out yet. But if I were to go in here and say, you know, this is employee, I think I entered 001, yeah. So, and I hit save, your summary will update down here. So you can see that this employee has 3 billable hours associated with them. Billable does not get captured in the payroll report. Payroll report is focused on regular hours. And so billable for projects is treated completely separate. And then down here in the lower right, you've got your summary of what's going on and, you know, total hours, PTO hours, overtime hours. This is employee NPS. This is on the performance review section. So you can click on here and have your new performance review. Performance reviews are really handy to make sure that expectations are set up front and really clear. And you can do a draft or final status. So you or the employee can create your draft and then enter your information and save it until a time where it makes sense. And then you can change that status. And then you've got signatures on a lot of these pages, like this one, SOPs, so that you can see like when a manager signed off. So you'd click on employee or manager, and then you're all set. Now the ENPS is not always the most obvious over here, but this is where you can start and stop the employee NPS, and that is going to show up for the employee on their side. And they will be able to answer that age-old question from Bain & Company of how likely are you to recommend this software-based or your place of employment, getting you confused, your place of employment to another friend or family. And it's a 0 to 10 scale. And it's really, really handy because once you start to get the feedback, you can start to really you know, see like, well, where are the improvements that we could be, you know, working on and things like that. And so once you actually get some feedback, it will show up here at the top. And then once you want to stop it, let's say you wanted to run it for a few weeks, that's where you would be able to stop it and start it. And so that is pretty much everything, I think. There's so many different things to talk about, but I believe I've captured everything. PTO requests will show up here or on the calendar, so you can see it real obvious here with when you need to approve PTO or deny it, whatever it might be. And so again, team@executethevision.com if you have any questions or you want to see a further demo. But the idea with this is to cover everything from hiring to time tracking, every operational type thing you need in one place where everyone is able to collaborate and see real time what's going on, automate things where possible, like quoting and invoicing, and to keep track of it. One thing I didn't show you is invoices. I just noticed here, when you send out an invoice, this is where you track them. You can filter and you can mark them as paid. And so you're keeping track of what's going on in the business. And you choose as the admin who's seeing what and who's accessing what, and it's really great. It's such an upgrade from spreadsheets. So I would love to be able to talk to you more. If you've got any questions, contact us.